the Troy women ahead of the vote is being displayed at the Hayner Center. It's from August 28th to October 4th.
And what is that?
It is basically about women pre-vote, and there is a section in there that talks about Auntie Green and other minority women. So if you're interested, and I mean, women are minorities, so it's it's kind of a twofer. But
Yeah.
That's going on at the Hayner, and I also discovered that Chris Manning, I believe she works for the Hayner, she's putting together a project about African American history in Troy, and she's working really hard to get that done.
Who is that?
Her name is Chris Manning. Sorry, that's all I got. She's at the Hayner though, so she's got a lot of information. I think she might work with the Troy.
I just don't know that name.
Could she be part of the Troy Historical then, and maybe just displaying at Hayner? I got the name from Sandy Gerkley. She's at the Troy Historical. I just left the library.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm big on this educate.
Yeah, I'm
So
too.
we know what we're doing.
Right, so you're live on Facebook. I already got the meeting.
Okay, no worries. All right, so I guess we'll
So
do.
Now we just have to wait for other committee members.
You're gonna say right now we don't have a quorum?
You don't?
Alrighty then.
And you said Sherry and Jordan would be absent,
Yes.
so we need everybody to show up. And Richard is the only one, so Trey's not.
No.
Okay.
Is Major coming tonight?
Jordan and Sherry were only two who emailed me and told me.
Yeah, because he's good about calling in and stuff.
Jordan said that on the previous meeting too, because he has a.
Yeah, the conflicts. Mhm. John, are you the secretary for this meeting? I don't remember.
No, Jordan.
Jordan is, okay. You're gonna fill in for him then? Or do you want? Okay. I was. She's like, well, I could too, I guess.
if I have to.
I know, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh man, and I'm ready for all these too, because this is the street names. Nineveh.
Is that the name of it?
Nineveh.
Okay.
Yeah, the Nineveh, and they were free, which is super cool. They were actually freed, or
Okay.
free slaves. And then I assume some also came when they were freed, but that's who lived in this whole area right here.
Were they a branch of the Pickle Group
No,
at all?
no, not. I
Separate?
mean, I haven't gotten that intricate, so I guess I can't say no. But
Okay.
so far, I have not gotten the connection.
Because I know a lot
Just
of them
that
they
they were
said
not-
migrated.
Yeah, what was unique is that these were completely free people.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I learned all kinds
That's
of
really
things
cool.
today. I'm telling you. My head
Yeah.
is still spinning, and then yeah, that's what I got so far. And I got my 3 names that I want to vote for.
This says there's a Chris Manning who is now executive director of the Woodfield Capital Museum.
Thank you.
And
And
she
she,
says young Chris Manning, so I don't know. That's
Yes.
what I am.
yes, it's the Overfield. I apologize.
Okay.
I've gotten too much information today.
They maybe didn't trickle down as far, but if you want to reach out to it, we could look for the museum.
Yeah, I actually would suggest that we reach out and allow her to educate us on some of these things too.
Mhm.
Or spend a time, like a day independently, and maybe you have to set an appointment up to go to the Troy Historical Library. But that is like one of the few in our state. It's amazing the database that we have here free. It's kind of like, you know, it's amazing.
Good.
Hey, you.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Answer my email.
I did.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get a chance yet.
Can I sit here?
And then also, I didn't know if anybody else wanted to go, they would be more than welcome to go too.
Catch my breath.
We're going to the Mr. Hamilton's so he can see the
Okay,
complex.
okay. You need to go to Cincinnati and see that museum.
You know what? I have drove past it and I've not been yet.
Oh
I
my
think it's
God, it is
so-
it is good.
On the way back from vacation, I drove past Jarvisburg.
Sorry, I
It's
was
the very
responding.
first
You had a
school in the history of Black people.
Yeah. Oh no, you go to, and if you go to Washington and see that, that one just tears your heart.
I need to get back there. I haven't seen the MLK monument or anything.
Yeah.
Do that.
So Sheree cannot be here tonight.
Yep. We don't have one more? Where is this?
This is we have 4.
You have 8 members, so.
So,
So, yeah, if the 4 members are here, out of 8 members, do they have a majority or not? What's the procedure saying?
We have 7.
Also,
Only 7 on.
Yeah, technically Marvin's not on it. Or, no, you.
Well, he's on. He is.
Yes, so you
Okay.
have a majority.
yeah, we do.
So we're over 53%. They had to have at least
Yes,
53.
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We're
it
good.
was my mistake. I thought you had 8 members.
No,
Oh,
no,
you're
we're
fine.
good. Yeah.
No worries.
You saved the day, Marvin.
Thank you.
I was just getting ready to call to adjourn, but
I'll put this back. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're far enough away. And you speak the lightest, so actually, I think Zoom would appreciate.
You want to spoke up a little bit?
Yeah.
we don't
That's all
have
good.
over 10 in the room, do we?
Yeah,
So
no.
we don't have over 10. So can we legally take these off? Does anybody know? I haven't followed this.
At your own risk.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to put anyone else at risk either.
Oh, no, you're fine.
You want to call to the meeting to start?
Call the meeting.
Yeah.
Calling the meeting to start. I could take roll call. We know Jordan Atkins and Sharif Brown are absent, but Sonia Holycross is present. Trey Hudson is absent. John Culler,
Here.
Marvin Major,
Here.
and Miss Loretta Phillips.
Here.
All right. So the first thing we were going to look at was the initiative task outline. The first one says social service structures, programming, and outreach efforts. Oh, wait, so we don't have, do we want to approve the minutes from last time? It's not on
We
here.
already did on the regular.
At
meeting.
HRC, you're right.
HRC.
Thank you for that. So we're looking at the social service structures programming. Under the bullet points, it's developing a toolbox of resources for the city and community use, municipal and common pleas procedures and practices, creating crisis intervention team. I think it's more of expanding it. It's already created. Trauma and mental illness assistance, which I kind of moved to put it under, well, let me think about that for a minute. Legal aid, financial aid, having 2 to 4 per year community events to provide inclusive environment and education for attendees. National Night Out for the community as a whole. That is going to be October 6th, and it is still right now divided into communities.
Yeah.
Storytelling Town Hall event. You want to discuss that before I go on, or?
Yes. I was thinking about the community events. I was looking at the calendar online, and I didn't see anything on there. Let me check on that.
I know we mentioned before you'd walked in, Chris Manning is the executive director of Overfield. Did I get that right, Sue? Overfield. And I know that Chris is working on an exhibit of African American history. I have no dates or anything like that. That might be a good connection
Okay.
in regards to an event and also overall education.
Yes.
Right now, the Hainer currently has Troy women ahead of the vote. Again, it's about diversity, women not being able to vote. There is some African American history in it as well. Auntie Green is kind of a cool, we don't know if it's folklore or solid at this point, but it was a woman who escaped in the basement of an abandoned Troy church. We believe that church is the Barbell Atkins Education Center. That's kind of actually, they haven't proven it or disproven it. So in what I've learned today, slave catchers came to take her back to a life of slavery from southern United States. The slave catchers shot off the lock of the church door to gain entry. She was hiding in what we believe is the Underground Railroad. The church members protected her. It says Auntie Green hid in a forgotten passageway and then escaped. The slave catchers never found her. Some of the story says she busted out of a window and ran all the way to the levee. I don't know where the levee, I assume the levee was still right here, but I don't know. And got on a boat. Somebody very friendly let her board the boat and she was gone.
Wow.
So I learned a lot of history today. And I'm just going to be honest, as HRC representatives, the Troy Historical Library is a source like of so much information. I also learned it was the Nineveh slaves, the free slaves, that the whole community was the baseball field too. So
Which baseball?
right here, right across the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when we get down to the, I was trying to save it, but I get so excited when I start learning stuff. Pastor John and I are going to meet the 15th at 11 to continue working on one of the resources for the toolbox, the community.
Okay.
Well, that and
Or-
the groups too.
And the groups, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
the
the whole
groups.
group is meeting on the 15th.
No,
Or
talk,
just-
remember the groups that he's working on so
Oh,
we can,
okay.
yeah, that's what we're going to need to kind of develop that. In regards to the CIT unit, do we want to invite that group in at
Which
some
group are you
point?
referring to?
There is a crisis intervention team already. I know a few people on it, but if we're talking about, because I think we were talking about the expansion of that.
Yeah, I think that would be very good to meet with them, because let me get my bearings straight. I thought that we were talking about them partnering with the police department as well.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. So if a drug overdose happens, this group of people, I know Mike Bessler is key on that, the fire department, they will actually go out and follow up. So it starts with, I think, the initial police report. But yeah, expanding it to when police are doing their services for kids that need therapy. So I think we could start with, I can do some investigation about who's all on that team to bring it back if that's helpful.
I think it would be helpful just to have
Okay.
them come to a meeting. Maybe they could present to us.
Okay.
And it could be this subcommittee meeting, or we could invite them to our meeting as a whole, whichever. We would just have to get on the schedule
Yeah.
and schedule through Solomon.
Yeah. Are we full in regards to like
No,
as many people as we
Well,
want to come?
September 17th, you already have 2 presenters. So it depends. If you want to invite this team to the meetings, you can, on the September 17th meeting, you can take it to the commission and tell them that you are thinking to add another presenter. And that as a commission, you can decide when do you want to invite the team. So you can prioritize what presentation you want to hear first, and then you can decide whoever comes to,
Yeah.
who wants you want to come
Okay.
to come into the meeting. It depends on your priorities.
I agree. I mean, there's so many things going on. I think it makes sense to pull it into one and prioritize down, so it's not redundant.
And also, do you have a spreadsheet with the names you've been discussing to invite as a presenters? And I can email it to all of you, and then you can have it, and then on the next meeting when commission meets, you can decide what's your priority, who do you want to invite
Yeah,
in the public meetings.
I like that. Okay, thank you. So trauma mental health assistance, Tri-County Board are the go-to people in those areas or for that area. So it could be the same ideology, like just find the person, go to HRC and prioritize.
I'm fine to take a road trip too. If it will be better for us to go meet with them instead of wait for them to come, I'm fine to do that as well. So
Is that okay? Can we do that? To take road trips? Do we have to be online?
I think we just have to document that we're going to meet there, right? We can't talk about any other official business or
Yes, we cannot discuss any business, but if you're there to learn and ask questions.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Perfect. Well then I can find the contacts of those. I'll take everything to you and then you can distribute it to the group. That way there's a process. Okay.
Or if you want to email everybody in the group, just send it out to everybody in one, copy everybody, don't put them in the CC.
Okay.
And just tell them that this is for information purposes only, do not reply to all. And if they have a comment, they can just call you directly on your mobile.
Gotcha. I will take care. And then we got legal aid, financial aid, community events.
How many people typically come to the community events? I'm not from Troy originally, so I'm not familiar with them.
Depends on what it
Yeah,
is.
say Strawberry Festival, you're gonna get thousands of people.
But
National
then
Night
most
Out.
of them are not from Troy.
Yeah, National Night Out collectively, I mean, we get hundreds, a couple hundred people. I'm not sure because I'm so focused on Garden Manor when I do National Night Out that, I know that we get like 50, 60 people, but I'm focused on my neighborhood, so I'm not sure.
Lincoln Center
Collectively.
area across on the Cape, we usually get anywhere from 20, 25, 30 at the most. Yeah.
When we do MLK March, we get 25, 30 to
Maybe.
March, but then there's more people at the church. It always seems like
Right.
there's about maybe 50 to 80 at the church, maybe,
So
waiting.
We're trying to have 2 to 4 events.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably need to discuss what we'd like to do at these events. I think that has a lot to do with how COVID is shaping up as well.
I agree. Do we want to partner or at least introduce ourselves to MLK team prior to the MLK event? Would that be a community event? That's a good, here we are, because it does kind of fit into that.
That's a great idea.
Okay, that's Pastor Kemma is the lead. I can get you that information. I'm on that team, so I don't want to get it all. I know it's ridiculous. I need time off.
You can share it. You're already in there.
Okay, so then,
Yeah.
okay, then I'll see. I'll
That's a
reach
great
out. Okay, perfect. I'm not sure. Help me with the financial aid portion. Is that school? Social service structure outreach?
I think that we were talking about, we were talking about school aid, so shouldn't that be under the
Education.
committee?
I would say. And then legal aid. Can that be intergroup or is it sit here?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would legal aid be better for intergroup or should it sit here? And I only say that meaning like, is there supposed to be a legal aid already established? And if it's just capacity or capability, then that could be put into the intergroups, right?
I think it's fine, and I think since we have a crisis intervention team here, I think that the legal aid would kind of fall under that, right?
Okay. Yeah, or we could
Just
put it
my assumption.
with the municipal and common procedure practice, right? Because that's where you would utilize it in court.
Yes.
So maybe they should go together. And so municipal, I always get this wrong. That's all county, right? Municipal and common. That's a felony and a misdemeanor. I gotta think of things in my head. Am I right in saying that's all county?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
The court system is all.
It's all county, right? Yeah. Because we don't advise to the county.
We don't have a city municipal court
Okay.
longer in that one municipal court, but it's all in the county.
So you have to find someone because we don't advise for county. That doesn't mean that we couldn't, but I don't know who that person. Maybe it's the health director, or maybe.
I would ask after.
Mhm.
So National Night Out is the 6th. We're back to the community events. Is that like a recommendation that we'd like to go back to the hold?
I think that's what we had discussed. We would need to bring it before the whole committee to ask if that's what they like to do.
Okay.
And then we need to look at a budget. I think the issue of trying to create a budget right now is COVID. I don't know how we would have any type of events.
We could help support the events that are already like we could get into the MLK. You can come support Gar Manor if you want. We could get all the names of each National Night Out, and we could go as HRC members and support. I mean, it'd be great if we had like a flyer or some kind of education that we could pass out. Sticker, I don't know. You matter.
We just need to create a budget for it.
Yeah.
So I'll do some research and figure out how much we would need to create pamphlets.
Okay.
Yada, yada, yada. I know that's in the budget as well.
Storytelling and Townhall events. I feel like these were all kind of recommendations of sorts, correct?
Yes. These are already, I think what we were saying is that the National Night Out for the community as a whole, we were trying to get one place in Troy, right, for everybody. And then if I could speak down to the town hall, we were trying to have a town hall event to invite people out, which is basically what we're doing at our HRC meetings. But we just, don't have enough time to have everybody come out.
Yeah.
So it could be like an event just to tell them what we're doing with each of the subcommittees and how we're trying to partner with the, you know, with the residents and businesses of the city to try to help them with any things, you know, that they need help with, you know, under our direction.
Like informative.
Yeah. And so when could we do that? Again, COVID, right?
Yeah. Too bad people just write it. Drop it off after you get what to do and stuff like that.
I'm fine. So,
I know the health department appreciates anything that can be outdoors.
You know, what about the Proudy? The Proudy place over
Plaza?
here. But
That
there's
or
plenty
Treasure
of room
Island. Yeah, they're open.
there.
which
It's
one's
open
it?
space.
Proudy Plaza. She means
Where am I at? Right
Right
down.
on the square downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or Treasure Island is another open
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Treasure
area
Island
that's
probably would be
designed
better.
for community.
Yeah.
That would be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's-
Seating would be better because they'd have to
Yeah.
bring their own chairs
Mm-hmm.
there.
Do we have any fall festivals here in Troy?
No.
Well, there's what is it? Minority, all the different groups, countries.
Festival of Nations.
Festival of Nations.
That's normally in August.
August.
And was not held this year.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it is in August. That's right, and they usually have it right on the levee.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a list of who typically would attend those? That would be a good list to
When you
have.
say who would attend, you mean like the public
Groups.
or who are the?
Like
partners.
the partners or the people that would be setting up booths. I'm not sure what it is. I've never heard of it.
Festival of Nations was created, don't ask me when, it was really to help celebrate the fact that we are a community, but we are made up of people with different, you know, backgrounds and nationalities or histories or traditions, you know, that type of thing. And then different, particularly countries or groups were encouraged to have booths that, you know, maybe display items or even sell items, small items that would represent things from your country, food stuff. Of course, you run into so many health department regulations with, you know, making some of your own food and how you
Right.
have to do it, but I was lady that made the most wonderful cabbage rolls you could ever taste there. You know, that type of thing. Games for children.
They had programs where they would do their native dances or
Dances,
choirs,
singing.
singing.
And
Yeah,
in costume, that
Yeah.
would be traditional.
they had a
But that's
what is it? Parade. They did a parade.
the Parade of Nations where children carry the flags of the different countries that are represented, as long as.
That was
people have a
nice.
flag,
That's
and a lot of them
cool.
had their own flags that they provided. And it used to be that every year there would be a featured country, you know.
Yeah.
One more featured than the other, perhaps.
Mhm.
You know, different, just different programs, and it was a committee that put it together. It was not run or organized by the city, but it started out as, you know, something that the community wanted and was involved in. Probably, I would say in the last few years, it's been a little harder to get people involved. You know, sometimes things run a small cycle, it might be. It was always a fun event.
But I think because of the location changed, it used to be downtown, they'd shut off the downtown
Yes.
and the different areas would have their booths. And when they moved it up here, it just didn't seem the same when they moved it up here.
I think it attendance was just about as big, at least in the first years here on the levee.
Okay.
It looked bigger, I think, sometimes because it was spread out on the square, but sometimes it was almost too spread out. It
Okay.
seemed for people. Another thing that had changed was some health department regulations with food, as I recall. So people started, the committee started buying maybe food from different, like a Mexican restaurant, you know, that type of thing to resell it.
because it was easier to buy something cooked and resell it than to have somebody bring their
Bring
own
it to
food and cook it in a great big gigantic skillet and things like
Yeah.
that.
But it was nice. It used to be
Yes.
really nice.
So the Parade of Nations was always a really nice
Mhm.
thing
Like
to
that.
watch, particularly children carrying the flag.
And the different dances and songs and music and
Yes,
was
and-
really good.
So then maybe we just need to support and help build capacity for something that is already happening.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
not recreating.
yeah.
Yeah.
and they had decided prior to the COVID situation, the committee had decided to kind of take a year off and look back and regroup. Some of the people who have maybe been chairs for a few years had felt like they needed some time away. Was trying to find a way to get, new
Blood.
involvement. And they were going to work on that during the summer, this summer, but then that didn't happen either. They were going to have a picnic and invite, people from different organizations or groups or churches or whatever that might be of interest just to talk about it, but they just couldn't even do that.
Okay.
They were going to do it in August at the same time.
Okay. I don't mind trying to get with somebody and check and see.
So you know the
if I
name
can
of
get with you.
the commission that runs that?
Well, it is the Festival of Nations Committee,
Festival of Nations.
and Mrs. Ruth Jenkins has
Oh, I
been
know
involved,
her.
and of course, she's feeling that she needs to
Push back.
not
Yeah.
have so much on her plate.
Yeah.
And, okay, I am just getting a total blank. on
That's okay. I can
names.
get with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
One is, I would say her name wrong and I don't want to say it. She was, I think, the French delegation, and then there was another lady that was involved.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I'll get with you.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
really
I can
good.
check into
Yeah.
that.
And
That's
Because
I don't-
I enjoyed it. We used to take
Oh,
the
it's fun.
kids to that. I
Oh, it
used to.
sounds fun.
I
I'm
really
sad I
like the
didn't get to
dances and the
attend.
music and yeah.
There
That's
also might be a fall schedule for the center that we just don't know, because they do programs and education sometimes
I don't
too. So
think
I
they're
don't.
gonna. Well, I don't think they're gonna do it this year because they're doing the building,
Okay.
the add-on to
Okay.
their place. So
And I think plus the COVID.
COVID, their
restrictions right now.
limit on
Yeah,
what they
but I
can
mean,
do.
even after COVID, if they need the support
Yeah.
from HRC, that we could be
Yeah.
there to.
Well, because they do a street carnival, I do know that. Yeah, and then they do their book give out, their paper.
Yeah, I know. I thought
No,
there
they've
was
already
some
done
Black
that though.
history and some other like educational
That's in
components
February.
that they'll have.
Yeah, they do
Okay.
that in February. Yeah.
So really, we just need to look at a national night out for the community as a whole, right?
Maybe discover why they opted to go backward, or not backward, but to change it from being a whole would probably help us understand. And I believe, like, I've talked to officers and they're like, we would love to be together. It's just we gotta bounce around, so it's hard to build community if you're bouncing around. So I think they would appreciate it too.
I think, for the Strawberry Festival, there's like transportation from different areas. You can park in certain areas and you can get transportation downtown.
Mhm.
And I think that maybe that's part of the reason why it moved from one to several smaller ones, because there's a lot of people that maybe don't have transportation. So I think if we're looking at a event for the entire city, we would probably need to look at transportation in addition to
A shuttle,
Mhm.
city buses.
location.
Should we go on to the second one? Second one is street, building, and statue names. Yay, this is my fave. So I can't say his name right. Please forgive me. Purcell Mersul. I think that's how you say it.
Karima Sewell.
Lover. I swear. I could just keep saying
Karima
that.
Sewell.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to say it wrong. That's why I did the pause. But at any rate, for him being a postman who developed a relationship with, I believe, Mr. Hobart, and was taking like tax investment information, and ended up creating one of the largest endowments that funds the Lincoln Center, I believe.
Richard's
And
Chapel.
he also created Richard's Chapel. So I thought, if it's an honorary street, the street Richard Chapel sits on.
Yeah, because that's McCaig. What is it? McCaig. Oh, I wrote that down too. It's called McCaig and Race.
Yeah, McKagan
Is the
Race.
name of that park there.
Yeah, I mean, even honorary, I didn't even think about honorary in the park, but I just thought even the McKeag Street being
Yeah.
honorary to him since he invested in that. And then Lucille Wheat, I don't know what street she was born on.
I don't know.
Okay, so maybe searching for where that would be suitable. And then there was a third one, Charlie Ross. I love Mr. Ross. I remember him as being the door greeter at Walmart, but through research, he is the first and only African American city council through his life.
Yeah, and he was a mayor for a very short time.
No, he was not mayor.
What was that?
He was president of council and was a member of council, but he was not mayor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking he was
I know
mayor.
some people
Yeah, no.
said that, but I actually I lived that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But
I
like
was
you
thinking he
can't
was
get,
mayor.
you know what I mean, more respectful than someone that actually transcended through. So man, I don't know what street per se, but I think those three come to mind. And talking to community members, I didn't hear anything negative in regards to, their legacy. Sometimes we'll get people, and human nature, someone has something to say about somebody did something, but I haven't heard anything.
I have another, Charles Charette, who there would not be a recreation department if it wasn't for him. He started off at Lincoln Center
Yes, can you
and
spell
was
his last
director
name?
there for years. Moved to the recreation department. He's the reason why we have the pool. We had track program. The recreation department itself of games and, the kids playing soccer and baseball, football. He was in charge of all that.
Wow, now you make me that street in front of Troy High School. I can't think of the name
Yeah.
of it, but maybe that would be suitable as an honorary. Can you spell his last name? I cannot.
Sharett.
Right on.
Yeah, so
He was like my
I mean-
goddad, so.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So those are 4 people. I think that's a great start. And then we talked about erecting historical significance of Hollywood and Slab. I think everybody was
Yeah.
on board with that. And then the Nineveh, we would love to acknowledge the Nineveh community over here.
What's the name of the community?
The Nineveh were the free slaves that actually lived completely across the street in all the baseball. So that's through all the research. I think those were the ones that we tried to make sure that we looked at the whole legacy. Our culture today, we don't want to be erecting things that have to tear things down. So to make sure that, they would be substantial role models for our community. So, and I think that's a really good start, truthfully.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll get some new generation one day, right? Erected or something. So we have women, we have Lucille, and we have men. Okay, I want to make sure that we. And then in truth, I plan on researching more things. It's just all my brain can handle today. In regards, so there might be. I think it's really cool. Like Barbell Atkins, she was an immigrant who came and started the abuse shelter, who protected people. So there are things like that as well. I just think that's a good start. So I think potentially there could be more. And Barbell is German American. So again, it's not all tunnel vision to one, but we're representing every. But I think her legacy was amazing. Her daughter still holds that legacy to this day. But you said paperclip? Okay. I'm sorry. The mask. I got half of the conversation. I was like, what? Okay.
But there's a lot of big businesses here in Troy too. I know like the pop can top was invented here in Troy, Ohio. When, how you pop the top,
Yeah.
that was invented here.
That's
And I
cool.
don't know the name of the company that did it.
Do
but
you?
I read that when I came
He said
here.
the pop
The pop
can top
can
was
top
invented
was
here.
invented here in Troy. Do you know who it was invented by?
Do we have a canning? I thought that was tip.
That little taps here.
Yes.
Mhm.
Not really.
Okay.
That's really
What
cool.
about Tip Top Potato Chips? Wasn't that their main factory started here?
I believe it was over near where Marquis.
Yeah, the market,
in that
yeah, it was
area.
that street down there to the left. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. I
but they
never
used
heard of
to,
it.
they used to pass out, free potato chips.
They have good things.
Yeah, if they had some that the writing was wrong on it or it wasn't sealed
What's it called?
properly, Tip Top Potato Chips.
Did it?
They were good too.
TIP-DOD.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wonder how Tip felt about that name.
I don't
That's
know.
funny.
I don't think they really cared back then.
Yeah,
It's now that they've gotten.
that's really cool. Statues. I know, like, we're big on having statues each year, right? Like, as displays. I just say, like, can we incorporate diversity within the art and statues that we already have? I think that would be fitting.
I think we were looking at like the names of the current statues that we have.
Okay.
So I looked at all the building names in Troy and I didn't find anything.
Offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that I could.
Gotcha.
So I looked around the street names and the building names.
Do we have, what statues do we have in Troy? Oh, the new one, this one right out over here. Yeah. Do we have any black aviators on there? I don't think so.
Those were done by a private group and they recognize the
Local?
the local Nancy Pepper Curry and they've got Clayton Ruffner and they're right up here.
Yeah, it's a very nice statue. Very nice. Yeah, I did notice that. But I haven't really noticed any other ones.
The statue of Mr. Newton.
Oh, the one with him sitting.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
On the
made
bench.
by an individual by the name of Michael Major. Which is what I
That's awesome.
Oh, really?
Your father's
Cool.
what?
I guess the artist that built that, his name is Michael Major, which is my dad's name.
Oh, okay.
It's not the
But
same.
not your dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man, you should have claimed it.
He did the statues out here also.
Oh, did he really?
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yes, I think he's not from Troy, but he's has a government Troy connection.
Is there any more on that initiative?
Those are a lot of initiatives.
I know. The third one, increased awareness about HRC. Or a presence with updates on the website, social media.
So we covered that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's a social media policy. I don't know if you guys had a chance to download it.
I got it. Yeah.
You did. You have a copy?
Yep, yep.
I touched it to the community.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Oh,
That's why I
yeah.
have it twice.
She keeps us straight. In my understanding, well, partly was just making sure that social media display.
We had talked about, what's the lady's name? Doing a transcript of what she would like to do and then like a kind of like a little play something,
Well, the video.
video.
Miss Brown-
Yeah,
Miss Brown talked about it.
yes. She had talked about making a transcript and showing it to, to get it approved.
And it does say that they gotta be turned off. Comments need to be turned off. So it's right
I
there
think
in
that's
12.
probably a great idea, right? I don't want anybody.
I mean, they know the best practice. They've been doing it longer than we have. As long as there's an avenue that someone can get to us, I
Right.
think that that's
Which
fair.
we have that on the website.
Yeah, and I think the initial thought of social media, other than building capacity for us, was just through the research of seeing social media igniting people's emotions in regards to leadership. Just the recommendation was like, hey, make sure everybody respects that they are, and block or shut down or whatever you do to your social media. Is that something in here that I've overlooked? Like, is there a policy for that, like for leaders or employees, Salome?
Well, we're just, I mean, I don't think that our council has any impact on what the city is doing.
No, it was because we are supposed to recommend, though, it would be a common sense recommendation just to make sure, you know what I mean, that you keep your personal in your,
Yes.
it will help City Hall, so that's what I
Employees,
meant.
we don't share anything on social media, on Troy's social media.
I mean, like in regards to like city council or like,
We
those,
only share information like meetings and calendars. We post those and just
but like, is your Facebook account open? Anybody can see it?
yes.
That's what I mean. Like sometimes when you're in leadership, if people see what you're posting, it can ignite the community on comments. There were comments that city council had, and again, it's their private accounts, but those comments were igniting people. So it was just like,
If they have their own private Facebook pages, that's not.
right. We're just
not
trying to
city.
give a helpful
It's
rep.
not a city. We don't
I
have
get
it.
that.
You won't be able to see any comments on the City of Troy's website. Those are all turned off.
Yeah.
So we just
That's not what
we
we're
just
saying.
post the information,
Mhm.
and no one really can start the conversation in your comment section.
Right. But
I
somebody
guess I'm not understanding.
somebody can go and look at your list of, let's say Joe Blow is the city council, and can go to Joe Blow's Facebook and see,
You
their
mean
character.
The city controls
And-
what city's employees and leaders can do. or-
I'm just saying it's a smart recommendation just to say, it would be smart if you're posting things that are controversial and you're a leader to maybe not have that public, or you're going to get the emotions of the public. That's all.
Mhm.
And it's just a recommendation. It's not like she doesn't have to take it. It's just a recommendation. That's all.
I understand
just to help
what you're saying,
things go
but I don't
smoother.
think we are controlling or limiting employees or leaders to.
That's fine, but if we're allowed to
Okay,
make a
private
recommendation, that's all it was. It was like,
Okay.
they can
I
do whatever
understand
they
now what
want to
you
do,
meant.
though.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Customer friendly, easy, and all this is being worked on, right? Because we've talked about all this a lot.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say, like, if you look at section 5 under the social media policy, it says that these sites may contain hypertext or other links to external internet sites that are not provided or maintained by the city of Troy. So we can have our videos created, and then I guess we can link to them through the website, is what I understand that to say. And under the
But-
policy.
but-
Number 6 says that kind of too.
But I guess if we're commissioned by the city, if we're commissioned by the city,
Right.
it would be, anything we created would be city. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a group.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I guess I should have gave some some foreground to that comment. So we were talking about, I have 6 people that work for me that do this type of work. So if we wanted to use them for any of the content creation, video creation, and we couldn't post it through the city can provide a link to that.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So, if we all decide that, the site that we have at the city is great, but we want something a little different.
Uh-huh.
I can have it created in about 48 hours. And we can link to it.
Okay.
Do you mean
That's all.
video or are you talking about
Video or like a one-page informational sheet that we would want to get out to like the high school or to like the city community, or anything that's that we feel we need to, you know, continue to work, not to prove through our subcommittee or through our commission. Any questions?
No, it's just if you have a content or what kind of information you want to share, you can send it to us
Yeah,
and we'll,
let's get it out.
yes, they'll review, we will review it and then then
Yes.
I could share the post it on the website on this information.
Perfect.
Okay, on the back page, budget proposal. And clear firm guidelines on discrimination. You done with that? I've been waiting on that.
Yes, I am.
Yay!
You can have it at our next meeting.
Okay.
Not before. I am finished. It's something that needs to be sent to our law directors, you know, to see.
Okay.
We can give that to city council members to have it done as a city ordinance. So still have to figure out how to do it. I know the last meeting that we had with the law director, he was saying that Troy is a city that follows state and federal guidelines. So a lot of, I guess his point was that a lot of the ordinances that we're looking at implementing our city already falls under the umbrella of the state and federal guidelines. So that information may already be there and already Troy being in the jurisdiction of it.
Oh.
So that's one of the questions that I have for him.
Okay. Makes sense.
You know, is there anything that matches that? I've looked around, I've looked at Cleveland, I've looked at San Francisco, I've looked at New York City. They all have the Human Relations Commission. They all have city ordinances that have things written in about discrimination against someone based on race or gender or background. So they have these things are already being implemented in these large cities across America just because of what's happening today. These aren't things that have already been passed years ago. These are things that are just being passed. So I think we're on the right track with doing something like that. And I would also go to say that if these are new items in New York City and San Francisco, then they probably wouldn't fall under the federal guidelines. I'm just assuming because those, you would think that those cities would also have the same protections. So, from my limited understanding of how the city operates from a legal standpoint. So next meeting, I'll have it for you on review. I'm definitely open to edits. If you want to make changes to it or add anything to it as well, I'll be perfectly fine with that. Our work, not my work.
It's all good. And the budget, do you want to wait for that or?
We can talk about
Okay.
that. I was thinking that, you know, the budget should have the ability, I guess, to come alongside of some of these events to help with, I guess, just the overall communication of our. It's like stopping. It's weird. Sorry. It would be nice if we could have some budget so that we could come alongside of these organizations and actually work with them. And so for me, what a budget would look like is we would have money for For print, we would have money for I think we would need a social media budget so that we could advertise through Instagram and Facebook, not just post it, but actually get people to see it, within the city of Troy. Because if you just post things on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, it basically gets seen by the people who are on your site. But if you create a budget and use that budget to promote those items, then it broadens your range, I guess, of people that will be able to see it and have access to it, then link to it. So I think we should create a budget based on that. I've already had my team look at what a budget like that for the city of Troy. And so that they were thinking if we just had a budget of maybe $250 a month, that would be enough money to promote things in the city of our size.
Would we need to pay for, like, for example, the historical recognition? Like, that could be like $3,000 to get one of those.
Right.
So do we need to put that in our budget, or is that
I don't know.
or
I think
honorary signs to the streets?
as I understood that question because we talked to Patrick about that. He said that they already have a process to approve like new street names and things like that, and we can just work through that process. We don't need to fund it. There's already a process and a budget for that. If you want to look at statues, I think those are typically commissioned, right? Like I think Sue was saying that the statue out front was commissioned by a group of business people, probably.
I think it might have been the Acorn Society or something like that. Statues of that size are like $100,000.
Okay.
Anybody know
Check
artists
this.
with their
Yeah.
backyard?
But that's a really big
We
one
don't have a
though. There-
watercolor
Yeah,
display.
that's yeah. Yeah.
So I think if we're looking at like a social media budget, I would say less than $400 a month would probably cover all the subcommittees or the commission as a whole. I don't know what print would look like, and I know that we had also looked at having a HRC logo, like their HRC approved. So we would have to go through the design process. We would have to go through, an approval process to create a logo, and so that whole process is about $700. Because you don't want, a chintzy, cheap looking design. It needs to be nice and it needs to fit with the city design. If that's something that we would get the mayor to approve. So social media, $400 a month. The logo would be about $700. And then print and brochures. I don't know what the cost would be. I can check on that and get back with us just to see. But my thought process, I know that we had discussed flyers at schools, and we had looked at flyers in different venues as well. So I don't know, again, I don't know what the cost would be for that. I would have to look at it. Other,
Wondering, your
Yes.
budget, whether it needs to be that specific, or even if we would have a line for education and awareness, which
yes.
could include brochures.
Yeah. I would think it would be a relatively small budget, for us to just brand the commission. I think it would be a really small budget. Print is pretty expensive. If it's just on white paper, black print, we could do that in house. But if we have like a color brochure and things like that, that's where it gets a little pricier. So that we're also looking at, if we do the logo and the HRC approved logo, we would be looking at like stickers and all that kind of stuff, right? Like advertising campaign offers for that, going out to companies and that type of sort of thing. So then again, we have more money in print and flyers. So I can look at that and take that back as an action item, at least for this committee. And then if we're partnering with any of the, if we're partnering with storytelling, or if we're having a town hall event, or if we're having a national night out for the community as a whole, those are bigger line item budgets. And so maybe we could ask for the mayor's support and what her thoughts would be on that as well. So that's all I would have for the budget. I don't think we'd ever get to a point where the city would reimburse us for travel and meeting expenses. Donuts and soda.
Yeah.
So I won't even add it.
We'll take strawberry donuts. Only strawberry
Good
donuts.
thought.
But I like the education and awareness, because we do need to bring people in as well to educate ourselves and educate the community. I like that. Being honoring to be able to pay people for their time. We're the only ones. We do things for free. Anybody else got anything for the budget?
Any thoughts at all?
So future business, we decided that it'd be beneficial to reach out to United Way of Miami County to learn more about those organizations, and with whom the committee shall establish partner. We're working on that right now.
I talked to United Way, and I talked to the Chamber of Commerce again, working with them and helping create a list of organizations. They're helping me out on that. Then Sonia and I are going to meet Tuesday, September 15th, just to
I would love it.
kind of continue that work of creating that list of organizations.
Mrs. Brown offered to contact our communications coordinator about the video. I'm sure she'll report.
She did actually.
She did?
Yeah,
Okay.
she did. Yeah, so that's a social media information. From Lauren, right?
Lauren Karch.
Yes. I didn't know if she had anything else to add. She didn't say anything in the email that I
Okay.
received.
All right. Have anything else for this meeting?
I do. I think since we have our items already planned out, if we could push our meetings out like maybe every 2 weeks.
See the glimmer in my
Yeah.
eye?
Yeah.
Behind the mask?
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
was just trying to push everybody so that we kind of got things organized. I know it's been grueling for me too. So, but it would be nice if we could do it
Yes.
maybe every 2 weeks or every third week. I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that.
Because I think it will give us time to really actually get into this work. And
I agree.
the only thing that we would need to act on really quickly is the budget. I know that our last discussion from last week, actually it was from 2 weeks ago, we had discussed that the budgets need to be submitted by October, by like the end of October. So that's when we need to have everything finalized. So I'll make my best effort in following up on these items to make sure that by the next meeting, I at least have a thought process on what that number should be
Okay.
for this subcommittee.
Thank you.
Marvin, are other subcommittees working on budget too?
Yes, there are budgets being discussed in other subcommittees. I don't know that we have it documented, but we have discussed it. But I'll make a point to bring it up in every other subcommittee.
before you move forward with scheduling next meeting,
Okay.
just to be clear, and because I'm the one who takes notes for today. So if you go through the initiative one more time, not just in details,
Gotcha.
just for me to know who's been working on what initiative, and how you are dividing tasks, so it will kind of make it easier
Yes.
to write the minutes and for you to know what you have to work on and
Okay.
Yeah.
report on the next meeting.
Okay.
Or maybe if you already want to cross off some things, then you already know that you will not be discussing any further.
Under bullet point number 1, social service structures, programming, and outreach.
I'm going to be creating or getting with the CIT and the trauma to find who the leads are to
Okay.
bring back to HRC to just prioritize.
Okay.
Pastor John's working on one of the tools in the toolbox, which is the community partner. I don't know. I just kind of made that name up. Let's see. Marvin, were you going to do? Oh, we
I was
added.
going to ask Patrick
Yeah.
who the contact is for municipal and common pleas procedures.
And legal aid, and we grouped those together.
Yes.
And then the MLK team, I will approach the MLK team about partnering for the MLK March in January with HRC. I think you were going to work on, I have budget and pamphlets. So
Yeah.
it was probably the beginning of the conversation, but
You can add that I will work on firming up a budget for the next meeting.
one of our recommendations was to, in the future, to try to solidify National Night Out together as a whole. So I assume now that's going to HRC to be approved. What did we say for
And then we
story
declare firm guidelines on discrimination. That's the city ordinance that I wrote.
Yeah.
I will have at the next meeting.
He did bring up under number 3, was it clause 5 or something, the ability to partner with your employees as long as there's a link shared. That was that one, right?
Which one? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, 3. So when you talked about the social media, then you brought up, I think it was clause 5 that showed that you could use.
Yeah, that we could
Yeah.
use.
I was just trying to
for
make
names.
sure she had everything in her notes. Miss Phillips is going to get with whoever leads, I think Ruth Jenkins,
Festival
the
of
Festival of Nations, and
Mhm.
Ruth Jenkins so far is her first contact
Mhm.
to see how we can support and move forward. The budget is due 10:30, and like Marvin said, he's working on that.
And then Salome, you said you will send out a list of meeting participants.
Yes. And then you are taking your ordinance to the law director to make sure it could be flushed out. I think that was the last thing that he said. And then he just noted the budget.
And the other thing that we discussed is that street naming options
Oh, I'm so sorry.
for Karina Zoll, Lucille. What's Lucille's last name?
Lucille Wheat.
Wheat.
Mhm.
Is it Wheat or Wheat?
Wheat. WHEAT. Yeah.
Thank you.
Charles Ross. Charles Charette, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
SHARETT.
Yes. And is that probably the one that we want in front of the center, Charles Charette? Is that like the beginning, or do you think it should be?
Well,
Where
yeah,
the
because
Hobart
he
is.
definitely was the beginning. Yeah.
So maybe if we
Yeah.
could have that in conjunction. And we talked about Mersul being the keg. If we get to
Right.
do that. And then Nineveh,
Is there like a park over there?
racing the
Mhm.
keg.
Racing.
So there,
Yeah, we could
It's
make
not
that.
actually a park.
it's not.
They tried to make it into a park like some of the other areas have, but she had a petition. Young lady had a petition out to try and get park equipment in there, and for some reason it never came about.
Well, maybe we should talk with her.
Exactly. I'll
Yeah.
see if I can get hold of her.
Yeah, that's
Would
interesting.
you add that to the list too? So you'll try and meet with the lady who had a
Yeah,
petition. to
Yeah,
turn which
there
part?
is, there's a shelter there.
Grace McKay.
There's a
There's a
shelter there.
shelter, a
And
bike
it's
path.
huge. The area
Yeah.
is huge.
There's a
So,
bike path. and,
Yeah, I walk
story.
on the path. That's where I walk
Yeah, and
at.
then there's a story. Maybe we could change the story out for
Yeah.
education. There
Yeah.
is a frog story. I think the stories can be interchangeable as you
Oh,
walk
yeah, it
to the
does.
library.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And and Nineveh. Did you get that? So I'll get that as part of the honorary.
How do you spell it?
I'm going to guess, and I think it's Ninivea. But I can always go back and go to the library and send it to you. No worries. And so I hear next meeting will be 2 weeks, so that leaves us September 23rd. Wait, 23rd to the 30th.
Sorry, can I add something
Yeah.
to this? I was looking at, I was thinking about how our citizens can better integrate with us as a commission and how they can tell the city when there's an issue. Like if there's like a street light that's out, like if there's some type of vandalism maybe in the public space.
Like a neighborhood watch, like a community neighborhood watch.
Yeah,
kind of.
like, I was wondering, and I looked through our website today and I didn't see anything, but, is there a way for our citizens to contact the city in case, they need something done? Like if
They
there's,
usually call us,
which, okay,
service director's office,
okay.
and then we are transferring them to the department, or if there's something we can communicate to other departments, we do handle that. Also, we do have some forms on that, like,
I didn't see it, so maybe I got it.
maybe it's not too specific, but if street lights are out or vandalism, usually they reach out to us, or if parks, they might call park department directly. And their numbers are all on the website.
Yeah. What would be interesting, I think, to know is, so for example, if I'm calling about a trash issue and it's a consistent, is there a report or something that goes to Patrick, Mayor, or somebody, so they can see the trends or issues that are going on, or is everybody compartmentalized? Which things can fly through if we're compartmentalized. But if we see that there are trends, then I think it's helpful even for the city to yeah.
I think that's a good point. So, it could be like a small link on the website where people, can come and we can have like some generic drop downs. Like, is it, that does it have to do with parks? Does it have to do with city streets? Does it have to do, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And then we can have like a generic one for other, and then they can at least write in what the issue is and then just send that. Because a lot of people are kind of like, they're not going to spend an hour to look through a city website if,
Yeah.
like, that's time out of their day. So it needs to be very easy so that they can just go there, fill it out, and then it goes to someone, and then someone takes that information and says, okay, now I know who to disseminate that information to so that we can get it fixed and resolved.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what my thought process is.
So that's why I said that they usually call. That's for most people. It is easier to call, and then service director's office and mayor's office numbers.
Yeah.
So usually we receive the call. Also, we do have a forms, like if you click on the website, I want to, which is already, I don't know how much this year is.
Oh, report a concern.
Yes.
How did I miss that?
So you can click report and then use their options like property maintenance issues, like that is out and other concern.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
So we already have
And then
that.
I assume a report comes out every so often, and then so all the department heads look at, or whoever someone looks at.
Yes, department who has to take care of it, they get that information.
But does somebody over that department get that information so they know there are issues.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's
The first thing on there is to report a street light. That's all.
that's funny. You talked it up.
You know, you put that on there.
But you're right. When you're emotional, you're calling and you're, yeah.
Anytime I'm gonna have.
Yeah, I'm not,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, it is easier to call, and then we either send an email to the department who has to take care of it, or to call them directly. Sometimes people ask us to transfer from the maintenance facility or park department.
Gotcha. Okay.
One other question. What if, you may not know this, but what if you live on the street and there's people that speed excessively down the street and you like to get
Call
like
Tim
a
Davis.
speed sign up to kind of,
Doesn't help.
Yeah,
it
we had that
lights
issue.
up
Yeah,
and
we
then
do
it shows
too.
them what speed they're traveling at. Is there any way for a citizen to request that? Like, especially in the area where there's a lot of children at play and there may be a thoroughfare that might be a little dangerous because people are, not being monitored.
We'll probably come do the test.
So would we have to contact the police department for that? Is that through the sheriff's office or is that through
Planning
the
and
city?
zoning, right? Planning and
Zoning.
zoning.
Yeah.
We had this experience on Cedar Street this year alone and worked with planning and zoning, and Tim Davis was our person, and Tim came out. We had like a town hall meeting on my street actually with everybody involved, and is working to, we're still waiting on, but it should be coming soon, the proper signage and a possible speed bump or a gate of sorts, because we're getting a lot of fast traffic as the construction is going on and whatnot. So, they did, I'll be honest, I was super impressed with Tim coming out and being proactive, and we're just waiting on signage now. So maybe the budget, maybe we're waiting on the budget.
So you're going to get a speed bump?
We are getting signs that show that we are not the main entrance to the new construction, and possible speed if it's not remedied. So we might have a different remedy, would be a gate, because again, we're a dead end, so you're only speeding for one reason. So we have some things that we have talked about with the community and the builders and the city. So you can walk in anytime and ask to talk to somebody, and they are very approachable. Yeah, they're very approachable. They're working with me in Garden Manor, the police, planning and zoning, to show the need for a fence around Garden Manor. And they all came after hours. They presented to our owners of the apartment complex. I was really impressed.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're very approachable for sure.
And sometimes we do receive calls when people don't know which department to call directly, and they will ask us, and then we will transfer them to either playing it.
Yeah.
We have had for years a phone number that this is like department. As long as before I was with the city, they had that same number. And people know, the folks who are more used to making phone calls, they know how to find that and use it. And, and again, it's like a clearinghouse to get them to the right person, whether it's leads or, who knows what. But, people employ are kind of used to that,
Yeah.
that line.
Okay. Nice.
It's
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
We actually tried, one year we tried out like Michigan, and we heard a lot of complaints.
A complaint for on the complaint line. I love
So
it.
is that number tied into the 211? No,
No,
it's
that's
not.
the city.
If
City line. That would be
it's
good.
honest, you could call right now, and if it's not, they will send an email to the city and request for it to be a part of it. It's super simple. So yeah, if that's something that makes sense, because those are issues that people don't understand.
I'm sure they already have the city's phone number, and then if someone is calling and they want to pay their water bill, I'm sure they will be able to find us and give them a phone number.
Oh yeah, I've called the water department like, I need big trash throw out. I got you, and sends me to the right department. Yeah. So for the 2 weeks, are we coming back on the 30th or that second week, the 23rd?
Up to you, fine folks.
What do you guys think?
I'm very flexible and I'm willing, so whichever day you guys.
Wednesday's a
want.
good day for me, so either one is good.
Do you think you need more than 2 weeks to work on those initiatives?
It would be nice if. we
Because you
could-
have
Get
regular
HRC
meeting on
first.
17th, and you have other committee meetings before that,
Yeah.
few meetings before that.
Can we work, can
Let's do
we
30th.
do it on the 30th?
I'm
That's
down.
good.
I just didn't want to be
Yes.
the one.
Yay!
For sure.
Same time, 6.
Same
Yeah.
time, yes, please. If that works for everyone, does that work?
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
everyone?
works
Same
fine.
place?
Same
Yes.
place,
Okay.
same time.
Okay.
Can I adjourn the meeting? Call to adjourn?
For that,
Uh-oh.
so for CIT and the
Mental health?
Tri-County Board, so my suggestion will be, and I'm thinking maybe it's a good idea to invite Tri-County Board representative to the regular session instead of you.
Yeah, that's what we put.
I know you mentioned also going out and meeting them, but since you're already inviting other people, maybe.
Oh, I got you. No
I
field
wasn't sure
trip.
if you
Yeah,
decided to go and meet them or you are inviting.
I know them. It's probably easier for the whole to
Excuse me.
be able to see them and talk
Thank you.
collectively. I
Okay.
agree. Yeah.
Okay. Now we can.
Now
Go
move
ahead
to
and-
adjourn the meeting. Does anybody? You got to stuck
I
in it, right?
second it.
Okay. Yay, we're out.
Yay!
I'm gonna send out a meeting invite, just add everybody to it.
Oh,
Well,
for sure.
I guess I shouldn't do that. Well, I guess for the people that aren't here.
Right. There is so I know Jordan's gonna have issues. Or do you plan to pop in a lot? Because I get
Yeah.
concerned ongoing with attendance. Like, and I get that people have things to do and they've done the appropriate things to tell us they couldn't be here. But our teams are so small. If you weren't here, we wouldn't have been able to move.
I know.
So, is there something that we like? Could you maybe either pay attention to Zoom, run over here or something? I don't know.
I haven't had the Jordan meeting yet. I haven't. Still discussing.
Thank you.
Mr. Major is on this committee, so he'll be coming to listen.
She already told me that. She got me. She got me online too. She left it on just to get me. No, I'm just playing. Sorry.
I will be here.
But I think like maybe in HRC, it's just a good conversation. It's probably time to have.
As a commission, maybe you can
Yes.
discuss that, and also remember you have operating guidelines, and then you can amend that. You can amend the ordinance which established Human Relations Commission, but you can change. It's on your decision to change operating guidelines to amend it and change it.
You heard that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we definitely.
Thank you.
I think we really need to make sure that we have engagement from everyone. I think that this is very important work, and it's a really good opportunity for everyone. And so if there's certain people that can't commit to it due to other things that they have going on, maybe we could address that, and I can take that up as an action item.
Okay.
Also on September 17th or even before that, if you want to reach out to Audrey and ask him if it's okay to change your operating guidelines, I think it
That's a
should
good
be okay
idea.
to amend it.
Mhm.
Okay.
But as a commission, it's not one committee's decision, you have to decide that as a commission.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think we discussed that at our last meeting, right?
We did.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
said we should do that.
Okay, now we are ready to adjourn.
Yes.
Yeah.
To adjourn.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.